Well, of course, right now, President Trump's in North Carolina, and he's going to be touring the damage left from Hurricane Helene. Afterwards, he will head to L.A. to tour the devastation there. $1 Million listing star Josh Altman joins me now. Josh, I heard a figure, 70% of Palisades residents will not return after the fires there. What does that mean for the county?
Yeah, David, thanks for having me again. I want to preface that statement and explain it a little bit. They're not going to not return because they don't want to return. Of course they want to go back there. For every one person leaving the Palisades, there's another 5 that would love to be there. They're not going to return because it's simple math. I don't believe they're going to be able to afford to rebuild. With most of the people that are heavily underinsured, with the cost of construction, lumber, steel. We're talking about $1,000 a foot building in the Palisades and in Malibu. And that's on top of getting a construction crew to show up to your site when there's 16,000 structures that have been burned between houses, schools, commercial spaces. It's a disaster. That's what I'm saying. I don't know that they'll be able to do it with the insurance.
What about the governor's claims that he's going to clear away some of the regulations that are involved not only in refurbishing but in new startups? I mean, has he followed through on any of those promises?
Okay, it's yet to be seen, but I will tell you the recipe for success is going to be cutting the red tape. Building a house, the process in California, which is just wrapped in red tape, is absolutely impossible. A year to get permits. You got the Coastal Commission, which could be another 2 years. It's time for the governor to start cutting the red tape. We got to move forward as a team. We got to get to finishing these houses so people can be there in 3 years, not 6 years. But I will tell you something. There's been a lot of ordinances and a lot of things on the state and local level that have to go. The mansion tax. That was the worst tax that was ever passed. Get rid of it for all the people who lost their houses. The wildlife ordinance, get rid of it. Start cutting the red tape. That's how we're going to get back to being strong Los Angeles.
Well, you got Donald Trump going there. The new president of the United States, he suggested 4 years ago that California should do the kind of things that a lot of people said would have, at the very least, made the fires less devastating than they were, bringing that water down from the north of California, collecting the rainwater, 90% of which just washes out into the ocean, dealing with those things, dealing with the underbrush. If that sort of stuff is done, if the president can now convince with his political capital Governor Newsom, who has no political capital right now, to do these things, might that make a difference in rebuilding the Palisades?
Yeah, I think it's a difference. I'm looking forward to Trump coming and actually seeing it with his own eyes. You have to see it. I have walked the Palisades. I have walked Malibu. It is way worse in person than you could ever imagine. Hopefully that will open up funding on the federal level, but we need Trump to pressure Newsom and Bass to start cutting the red tape, because that's the only way that we're going to get done with it.
But again, in addition to the red tape, there are things that need to be done to prevent it. If you're investing in a property, it's not just for right now or for the duration of the rebuilding. It's for years to come. And if I fear that the same thing is going to happen next year or even 10 years from now, I might not be willing to buy into it or refurbish.
Yeah, we need to see that get done. And I will tell you, just from my clients calling me, a lot of them, of course, looking in the local areas to be as close as they can be to their normal life that they had. But a lot of them are very nervous to go up towards the mountains now.
Yes.
It's something that they're not going to do. Once you evacuate and your house gets burned, you're not going anywhere near the mountain. You're living in the flats.
Gotcha.
It's just the new way of life for those people.
Josh Altman, pleasure to talk to you. I really hope those folks do better in the immediate future, and particularly with the visit of Donald Trump today. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.